The Bethesda gods have smiled upon me and given me Rage 2 a whole day early. Now, this isn't an endorsed video. I'm not being sponsored by Bethesda. I paid for this with my own money. Just for whatever reason, my pre-order opened up a day early and I got to play. And play I have. What I put together for you guys here is a little video of me just running around aimlessly, clearing out some areas in the map. And I wanted to give my overall impressions. I am by no means giving this a final review. I'm not even giving it a score. I would trust your favorite critic for that. They've definitely invested significantly more time than I have. But in the few hours that I have put into this game since I've recorded this video, I have a general feel for what it's like. And I could talk about the things that initially grabbed me and some of the things that maybe still aren't so great. If you haven't played the first Rage, then a lot of the comparisons that I would make to it probably won't make a lot of sense. And I know the game did pretty well, as most Bethesda shooters tend to, especially with that id logo behind them. But if you haven't played Rage 1, the world was very boring and empty. You drove around in a vehicle from location to location, and you were these very instanced shooting galleries where combat was fast and fun, but the world in between was very, very boring. And I feel like Rage 2 tries to take that criticism to heart and to really open up the world and give you a lot more activities and a lot more random encounters to do. And for that part, I feel like it really does work. You're going to be driving around a lot in your talking car, which is a very feminine, flirty car. I wonder if you played as a female character, if your car would be a male voice and be just as flirty, but regardless, your car talks, and you have to repair it, and you have to upgrade it, finding these arc chests, and I'll get to that in a second. But you drive around the world and you basically look for trouble. Now, there are quest markers all over the place. There is definitely a story here. But if you want to do stuff like me and just go around and explore and see the world, you could totally do that too and just stumble on these random outposts or these random events where NPCs are fighting some of the crazy wildlife, or wildlife is fighting wildlife, or you could just basically do whatever you want. And I like that the world is somewhat rewarding. Now, it's not rewarding in the sense that you're going to find some rare weapon or some rare treasure, at least nothing that I have seen yet in my time with the game. What you're really going to find, that was awesome. God, that was so cool. What you're really going to find, though, is just more quest hubs and places to shoot, to get more ammunition, to get more upgrades, parts, cash, that sort of thing, which you can take back to the various vendors in the game and upgrade the good old-fashioned way. So it's not for nothing. You're going to be exploring, and if you want to find those things and you want to unlock everything, you can totally do that. And oh, she's gone. So the heart of the game is that you're in this crazy post-apocalyptic world. This evil villain has basically raided and destroyed your camp. You pick up this dead guy's armor. You declare yourself the last known ranger. You play, your character's name, by the way, is Walker. Of course, Walker, Texas Ranger. This game is full of funny puns and over-the-top, ultra-violent action. He plays the last ranger, self-appointed ranger, to go try to set the world right. And that's pretty much the gist of the game. You're going to meet other NPCs along the way that are going to give you different items and different gear, different quests to kind of help you reclaim this horrific world that has been overrun by these crazy psycho mutants and just bizarre people with mohawks, and it's kind of like a weird Mad Max, Blade Runner, post-apocalyptic shooter, and I love that genre, so I think that's why this game spoke to me so much. Now, when you're not driving around and checking out these wild outposts or repairing your talking car, as I'm doing here, you're shooting, and you're shooting a lot. And what I really love about this game is it feels very fluid. It feels totally like an id game, and I know Avalanche had a large part in the development of this game, but it just feels like a Wolfenstein. It feels like a Doom. It feels like a Quake Champions. It just has a wonderful feel to it. And typically I play a lot of games on my computer with my Xbox One Elite controller, and it works great with that. It also works equally as well with your keyboard and mouse for some of those juicy precision headshots. And I love that this game rewards you, by the way, for those headshots, and you can drop an enemy instantly. And if you saw some of my rating on the last area I was just in a few minutes ago, you saw me taking out my pistol and definitely aiming for the head. Now, everybody has this ragdoll look to them. When they get shot, they explode into just a shower of gibs and parts, and they scream in agony, and they try to flank you, and they run at you. You saw one enemy earlier throwing a grenade in the air and then swinging a baseball bat in an attempt to hit me, like hit the baseball, like the grenade into me and explode. Of course, if you shoot the enemy before they get to swing the bat, the grenade lands at their feet and they explode. And there's tons of those like physics-based things that I love. It's funny I mentioned physics-based because I got up to this windmill and I didn't know what to do with it. I thought maybe if I stood on it or shot it, I didn't see any use for it. But for the most part, outside of some of these static models, the enemies are definitely very fluid and they're definitely very fun to engage with. And you saw me using some of my powers, and you get these powers. You get a dash, you get a double jump, you get this force push. There's other ones too, but the idea is that you're going to be augmented and basically be the superhuman murder machine. And your character makes funny little quips and jabs. This game definitely doesn't take itself too seriously. I mean, there you saw me just hit an explosive barrel that the enemy so conveniently placed next to their camp. I ran into it with my car, and I think I took out 3 of them. And then I'm going to clean them up with my pistol here. And it's just so much fun. I really love the shooting in this game, and I love this overdrive mode that I just engaged. Basically, it makes you just a badass for, 5 or 10 seconds. You can upgrade the time and the damage and that sort of thing with skill trees and all that, but that's the gist of this game, is running around and just fighting and looting, and it's a really fun open world third-person shooter, and I feel like it totally has a place. Now, you play a lot of games like me, you're probably drawing comparisons to a Far Cry game where that's really an open world zany shooter, but I feel like what makes this different is that post-apocalyptic element. The HUD and the graphics, sometimes you'll notice they look like almost an old VCR recording. You have a lot of crazy colors. You got purples, you got blues, you got greens, very vibrant, modern neon looking colors in this otherwise bleak, destroyed world. I mean, there you see a bridge that's been destroyed and lots of just damage, and the world is just barren and used up. But you have this injection of these really bright colors. You'll shoot barrels that are full of different kinds of paint, and they just explode in the air in this confetti, and it's just got a fun look to it, and it's a great aesthetic. And I think what makes this game really stand out is that there are so much variety in the way that enemies die, and the ragdoll physics do look so great, and there's conveniently placed barrels and grenades in your wing battering, basically a wing stick, I'm sorry, where basically you throw this boomerang that has blades on it, and it'll just sever people's arms or legs off, and their physics will react accordingly. So there's a lot of little side things to do in the game. There's these authority sentries. I already took that one out, so I'm just driving past it here, but there's a lot of little activities to do in the world, and I understand in reading the criticisms where people say, after a while it does get repetitive, and I'm sure that it does, as most games do, but I think you're going to be blown away by how pretty and how fluid and how fun it controls. I think you're going to make your own fun like I did, and you're just going to enjoy exploring around and blowing up crates and getting treasures to build up your inventory, to get better weapon skins, to get cooler looking guns, to get a cooler looking vehicle. I feel like that's the kind of stuff that you're going to, probably sink your time into. I compare that to the original Destiny in the sense that the original Destiny definitely there wasn't a lot to do, but it just felt so good at the time, and there was really nothing like it. Now, this game obviously has a significant amount of competition going against it. There's a lot of shooters out there, but I feel like it's got that id polish to it, and there's just something about it that if you've played the Dooms and the Wolfensteins and the Quake Champions of the world, you know what I'm talking about. It just has a very refined look to it. Now, All the footage you see here is recorded off my big computer downstairs. I'm running a 2080 Ti. I'm running it on a 21:9 ultra-wide monitor, and I don't know what the frame rate is, but it's definitely not a single hitch. I have every setting drawn to max, and everything looks great, especially when you get stuck like me and you gotta move this other car out of the way. I don't think, for whatever reason, because I got it early, I feel like if there is a day one patch, I don't have it yet. So I've noticed some weird little wonky physics things, and I've noticed some weird voiceover lines that are missing or that kind of thing. I'm not too worried about that, though, even if that's never fixed. And I know it will be, but you get around okay. I mean, you just saw me hit that pile of rocks. You saw them explode. It just... the world feels alive in that sense, very vibrant, except for that weird thing that you saw me shooting at earlier. I'm still not sure what that wind dial thing is, that like windmill thing I was playing around with. So here you can see enemies flanking me. You have armored enemies, but thanks to your push, you could just blow them away. You could shoot them in the legs with the machine gun. You can knock over poles on their head. You could throw grenades at them. You can throw your wing stick at them. You can get in your vehicle and just mow them down with a 50 cal. A lot of different ways to take people out, and it feels good. I feel like it doesn't take itself seriously, and that's what I love about a game like this. I was very conflicted with Wolfenstein II, as much as I love the gunplay, that I didn't really understand what the tone of the game was trying to be. It seemed kind of serious, then it got very, very goofy about halfway through, and didn't really understand where they were going. With this game, it's very clearly, you know, mankind is on its last legs, the earth is dying, let's go out and just be crazy bastards. That's really what this game is. And just looking at the terrain where these people take mannequins and put computer monitors on for their head, and all the different spray paint. There you go. There's a big, nice, juicy spray of red paint everywhere. They're just embracing the fact that, I don't know, it's the end of days, I guess. But, you know, shooting an enemy in the air like that in slow motion, it really gives me throwbacks to Bulletstorm and how much I loved Bulletstorm. And you know, you got points and rewards for juggling enemies in the air, so to speak, with machine guns or kicking them into walls. And while this game doesn't have that level of a refined kill system, you do get your overdrive that charges faster depending on how fast and how much you mutilate enemies. So there's a lot of fun to be had in that, and I think that that's where a lot of the replayability is. All these outposts and everything you're seeing, by the way, they do eventually respawn and enemies do return. So it's not like you're trapped and once you kind of do something, you're done. There's plenty of other things to do, and you know, you'll definitely be coming back for a lot of replayability in these zones if you want to. Another cool thing that I did not see mentioned in any of the other official reviews that I wanted to mention here before I close this video out is the game actually has built-in cheats for you to use. Now it tells you that you limit your progress and you limit, you know, it'll change how your save and stuff is, but if you just want to have fun and you're not like a PC user like me and you could get these crazy mods, if you're going to play it on the console, I'm sure it's going to look great. But they have a built-in like cheat mode if you just want to just go crazy and really just embrace the savagery. So I feel like even just in that sense, they took the game and just said, you know what, people are going to have fun with this. And I'm totally having a blast with it. Now, will it stay that way? You know, is this my forever game? And in 3 years, are we going to be talking about how much fun Rage is and all the little Easter eggs and the worlds we find in Crazy Quest? Probably not. Based on what I'm seeing, as fun and vibrant as the open world is, it's really a lot of the same. It's not this exploration just for exploration's sake sometimes, so maybe people will grow tired of it eventually, but for now, I think it's got a great launch window. There's not really a lot coming out right now, and I think if you've got the time and money, you should check it out. So I highly endorse this game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.